Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. Happy Friday, the 24th day of October 2025. I hope you're all safe and healthy on this Friday, that your family is safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders, trying their best to save and comfort lives. Those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The people that are out here trying to help those that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create the demands that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, and senior citizens, and military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. They're scheduled to be a basketball game tonight at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks will be revisiting their rivalry with the Boston Celtics. After having eliminated the Celtics last year in the Eastern Conference semifinal in 6 games, now they start a new season. The Knicks are fully prepared and not at full health, but they got a team. The Celtics are without their biggest gun, Jason Tatum, one of the 5 best players in the NBA. Although the reports are he is actually progressing faster than expected on his Achilles injury. Generally, an Achilles injury takes more than a year to come back from. Very severe, very serious injury. But apparently, he is planning on being back sometime in March. So that's good for Jason Tatum and good for the Celtics, but it's not good for them this season. Right now, their starting unit is Derek White, who is a tremendous two-way player, shooter, defender. Peyton Pritchard, again, tremendous two-way player. University of Oregon has really developed nicely over the years. I wasn't very high on him either, but he has proven me wrong, and he's a very good player. I think he was in the running for the last couple of seasons for 6th Man of the Year. So yeah, he is really a good, solid player. Of course, Jaylen Brown, a superstar, former Finals MVP. Then shooter from the power forward position, Sam Hauser, and then Neemias Queta, who is out, I think it's Utah or Utah State. He is their starting center, starting person at the 5. Now their bench is pretty good. Anthony Simons was a starter in Portland after being developed in Portland, come there at 18 years old, 18 or 19. Now he's a solid starter, veteran. And he can score. He can score well. Josh Minart, another solid player, young player, 22 years old, solid player. Boucher is on the other side of his career now, toward the end. He's in his 30s, solid three-point shooter and defender. He was in the Toronto Raptors organization until he signed with Boston. Then there's Xavier Tillman. I believe he came out of Michigan State, 6'8", but he plays center, sort of like our guy, Yabusele. But Tillman is most strictly a 5. He does not play the 4. And so they have a solid bench. I would say they have a solid bench. But and they got a couple of other players. Now, Luka Garza, another guy that really survived and worked his way into the league. I believe he played at Iowa, late round pick. Jordan Walsh, nice young player also. Baylor, Shireman, all of these guys are real survivor type guys, gym rat type guys. So they're going to be fighting every game. But missing Jason Tatum is huge. Missing Jason Tatum is huge for the Celtics. So they just lost to Philadelphia by 1 point earlier this week. And so they're not the same dominant team that they were prior to Tatum. Tatum is the type of player that requires everybody to be aware of where he is always on the floor. He is that type of player. You take that away from the Celtics, and now basically you got a key on. And one of the reasons, for example, Derek White but really Peyton Pritchard has had career years, is because of the attention has to be given to Tatum and Brown. And then when they have Porzingis, you have to pay attention to these guys on the floor because they can shoot the lights out and they will kill you, right? So now you're missing two of them. There's no Porzingis, there's no Tatum. So now you can kind of focus on playing your solid team defense on the Celtics. And you could do pretty good against them, as Philadelphia showed the other night. So the Celtics are vulnerable, I guess is what I'm saying. Now the Knicks, they got some problems, but these are good problems. So tonight, Mitchell Robinson is not playing. And I've looked at this and analyzed the situation with Mitchell Rob. And I'm feeling like, this is what I'm feeling like. The goal here is for Mitch Rob to play 65 games, okay? I believe that's going to be a standard for his next contract because of his injury history. That is also a standard if you want to be considered for any honors as far as Defensive Player of the Year, all defense on the NBA. You got to play at least 65 games. So I believe that's the goal here. So he'll miss games. They're going to have him miss games, but I don't think they want him to miss more than 17 games. So he's going to miss games for his ankle, and hopefully there's no issues with the ankle, but they want to make sure he's completely healthy. So they've already announced he's out for tonight. I would expect him to play against Miami on Sunday, though. But right now he's out for tonight. So you're going to have Hoop Porty starting again. Now the question is, is Cat going to play? I think he will. I think he'll play unless, Cat is really a gamer. If he could play, he's going to. He said the other day he didn't want to disappoint the fans. He is really living his dream and playing in the Knicks uniform in Madison Square Garden. And so I think he's probably going to play tonight. When Josh Hart is listed as questionable, there's about an 80% chance he's going to play as well. And herein lies the good problem. So now you have Brunson, OG, Cat, Bridges, and Hoop Porty. That's your starting five. On your bench, though, you have Josh Hart, Yabusele, Deuce, Shamet, Jemison, and I'm going to say Jemison. There's some people out here on my channel that think they're English teachers, and they're always trying to tell me how to say something. They don't like what I say. Some person got mad because I said Yabusele instead of Yabusele. And now the other day, it's not Jameson, it's Jemison. Some of y'all can go flock yourselves, but anyway, let me just call him Jem because he is a found gem, isn't he? I'm going to call him Jem. So Jem, and then Clarkson, and then Kolick. So really what you got is 7 guys that you could use off your bench. The Knicks bench, whereas in years past under Thibodeau, and mostly it was because of how Thibodeau did not utilize his bench or develop his bench. Because of that, you have now a Brown that not only develops but utilizes his bench. The Knicks bench, whereas in time past was always people whining about production and the non-Brunson minutes and all of this crap, now the bench is a strength, okay? They're really a serious strength, and any championship team needs a strong bench. You're not going to win a chip with just 5 superstars. See, the days of LeBron and the big 3, that's played out. And there's still people trying to do it. I mean, the Nets tried to do it by bringing in KD, Irving, and Harden, and that was a disaster. And then Phoenix tried to do it. That was a disaster. The way the salary situation is now, you can't really do that. You're just hamstringing yourself trying to get a big 3. You really want a solid starting 5. You want to have at least 1 superstar. The Knicks have 2. And then you want to have a really deep bench. The Knicks got all that. And so now you got 7 players. All right. So Josh wasn't available last game. But Yabusele, Deuce, Shamet, Jamison, Clarkson, and Kolick all played the last game. And in fact, the only person that did not play rotation minutes, I think, was Jemison. I think that was it. He's the only guy that didn't play rotation minutes the last game. Everybody else played at least 10 minutes. So now you're going to add Josh Hart to the mix. And Josh Hart, and I know Josh Hart's a gamer. So he's going to be out there ready to play. And he's going to be giving his all. So the last game, Jem was the only guy that didn't get 10 minutes, but everybody else did. In fact, Kolek got 14 minutes, so did Landry Shamet, and Clarkson got 13. I think you're going to see more of that. It looks to me that Brown seems to favor, which I understand, Shamet over Clarkson. Because Shamet does what Clarkson can do in terms of score, but he's a way better defender. Okay, so I think going forward, you're going to see him trust more in Shamet. This could be a really good year for Landry Shamet if he stays healthy, and I hope he does. So you have 7 guys that you can use off your bench, and I think he will use them, depending on how they perform. But I think if you're going to have these 7 dudes, the bench again is going to get 30 plus points. They're going to get 30 plus today, and they're going to defend. So you're talking about Josh, Yabo, Deuce, Shamet, Jemison, high-level defenders. Okay, high-level defenders. All of these guys can defend. So you're going to have them out against the Celtics' second unit, which we talked about: Anthony Simons, Josh Minot, Chris Boucher, and Xavier Tillman. Solid bench the Celtics have. But I'm going to say it, they not as good as us. They just not. You put the deuce card on Simons, it's going to be a difficult assignment, but shoot, he was just the other day guarding Donovan Mitchell, okay? And Simons is really good, but he's not Donovan Mitchell. And you put the deuce card on him, that'll help with that. And then you got Boucher and Tillman. Hey, listen, Yabu, Josh, Shamet, Jem, they can handle that. They could all handle that, okay? So I'm going to give the Knicks the big advantage here because of the strength of their bench. To me, I want to see the team that really is the better bench than the Knicks. There are only a couple teams out here that I could see that could say that. Oklahoma City and maybe Houston. And by the way, Oklahoma City won its second straight game last night, double overtime win last night. What a game that was. It was Oklahoma City, Indiana. And let me tell you, Indiana's another one. I've watched Indiana both in the preseason, and last night was the first time I seen them in the regular season this year. I'm going to tell you something. They ain't lost. Yes, Halliburton is not playing, but it ain't the same thing as the Celtics losing Tatum. I told y'all, I've been telling y'all since the boy was at Arizona. Mathurin is that dude. And last night, I think he dropped 35. He fouled out. If he didn't foul out, they probably beat Oklahoma City last night because he was giving Oklahoma City fits last night. When he got out the game with the 6th foul, that's when Oklahoma City took over. But and also last night, they had Obi guarding Hartenstein, and he did the job on Hartenstein. And he victimized Hartenstein a couple times. They got switches on Obi. Obi was there for the last two, the two overtime. He was out there doing business. And so, Indiana, I'm ranking Indiana right below the Knicks and Cleveland. Knicks, Cleveland, Indiana. Indiana's going to be there again. I saw some idiot on X talking about the Knicks lose to a lesser team 2 years in a row, the same team. See, that's the type of stuff I can't stand. That's the type of cursory, non-understanding foolishness. Indiana has been a team. I've been looking at them for a few years now. Especially now, when they got Obi and Mathurin, I was just wondering where they're going to play everybody because they got talent up the yin-yang. So I'm going to tell you, they ain't missing Halliburton. They not. Okay? They not. Mathurin is that dude. They're going to get McConnell back at some point. His situation, I think, is a hammy. And he's not dependent on athletic ability. And McConnell's another tough dude. So last night, Mathurin played 45 minutes, dropped 36. He was 3 or 8 from 3, but he was getting to the line. He took 17 foul shots last night, hit 15, 11 boards. They ain't missing Halliburton. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to be a problem. It's going to be the Knicks, Cleveland, Indiana, and Detroit. That's what you're going to see this year. And Detroit, even now, they got a problem because, hey, listen, it seemed like a minor thing to be missing Malik Beasley and to be missing Tim Hardaway Jr., but those are huge losses. Huge losses. You could bring Beasley off the bench, and with Beasley coming off the bench last year with their team, they with Beef Stew, they was rough. That second unit was rough. Now they don't have Beasley. They got Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson's a spot-up shooter. Beasley's a scorer. And Beasley was the type of scorer that when he got hot, there was nothing you could do. Like 3-point line, 40 feet out, he's going to shoot it with somebody over him and hit it. We saw that. That was what made him tough. So Detroit, the reason I'm still ranking them in the top 4 is because they got Cade Cunningham. Eventually, Jaden Ivey's going to be back. Jalen Duren is looking for a new contract extension. He just did not get the extension this year, so he's going to be looking as a restricted free agent. He wants to get paid. Jalen Duren's going to be ready. They still got Tobias Harris. They're still a really good team. I just want to see Duncan Robinson's a step down. Okay, he's a step down. They're dependent on him to be a spot-up shooter. He's an elite spot-up shooter. But he's not a guy like Beasley that could create his own shot. And although he comes out of the Miami system, which means he knows how to play defense, he's not Beasley or Nesmith in terms of that. You can't put him 94 feet on somebody. He'll get beat, right? But he's very good at maintaining his position, knowing where he's supposed to be on the defensive side of the floor. So he could do that. But to me, it's a step down. When you lost Beasley, you lost something that was hard to replace. And let me tell you, Robinson, he ain't cutting that mustard. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not cutting that mustard. So Detroit is going to be dependent on the growth of Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham, and I may, say some of y'all, Cade Cunningham is just a few steps behind. And that's it. Just experience behind SGA, who is just the MVP. That's how good Cade Cunningham is. He's that dude. He's just a couple. It's because of experience. SGA got the experience because he's been doing this now longer than Cade. Still a young guy, but Cade is just a few steps of experience behind him. So Cade, just him growing is enough to make Detroit tough. Cade Cunningham's a two-way player. Now, they also got Karis LeVert, but over his career, Karis LeVert didn't get accepted into the Anthony Ambulance University. So he's not quite that bad, but he does get hurt a lot. Okay, so Karis LeVert is behind Cade. Karis LeVert is very good. He is. But he's a step, in my view, in terms of big-time playoff performer, he's a step below Beasley. Beasley is that dude, he remind me of people I used to see in New York. Y'all seen the type of dude. Used to be a great high school player, but between wine and women, he got, washed out, but he still come on the playground and bust you in your ass. That's Karis LeVert. That's Beasley. I'm sorry, that's Beasley. Beasley was like that. Okay, don't care what the venue is, don't care who it is. If he's playing that night, if he decides he wants to play, the other team got problems. We saw that last year. That's why they were pushing us so hard. So LeVert, Ron Holland is really good. Isaiah Stewart, obviously. Marcus Sasser, I liked him coming out. They got a team now, but they starting Duncan Robinson. I think that's a misstep right there. And I don't think they're gonna make up for the absence of Beasley and Hardaway. I just don't think they could do it. So that's gonna be tough on Detroit this year. But still, you can't sleep on Cade Cunningham. So back to Boston. I'm expecting the Knicks to handle Boston today because of that bench. Because we got 7 guys you could turn to. Like I said, Josh, Yabusele, Deuce, Shamet, Jim, Clarkson, Kolek. You got bench. You got firepower on that bench, okay? Everybody that I just named, you put him in the right line. We just saw Kolek with 4 defenders. He's tough, okay? He could run an offense. Clarkson, we ain't even seen him yet. I'm telling you, you ain't seen him yet. When you give him that 15 to 30 games, by the time you get to around Christmas time, he gonna give you a present, for real. Because Clarkson, he gonna get acclimated, he gonna get comfortable, and that brother could play, right? And then of course, now I'm expecting them, if they're gonna try to play Mitch Rob 65 games, which means he gonna miss at least 17 games. I'm expecting them to convert Jemison to a regular contract. The Don is slick. Him and his boy Him and his boys are slick, man. What they probably going to do, Jemison gets 50 games as a two-way. So, but the more time goes by during the course of a season, the cheaper a minimum contract becomes. So you probably play him just like now for like maybe 30 or 40 games. Then you convert him from a two-way to a standard contract, and you ain't got to pay like the full 1.272 million. You ain't got to do that. You can now pay him the balance of the season, which is going to be less than $1 million. They'll figure out how to get that done. It may take a trade. Like I said, I still don't take Daddy off the trade block. To me, seeing how this thing worked out, because they chock full. The Knicks are stacked. And then I still get nutcase about, what about the youngs? How are we going to develop? Y'all ain't never heard of Think Pate. Y'all forgot him already? I'm going to tell you what. Next year, you're going to remember him. Think Pate's going to be that dude. I'm telling you. And they got him basically for free. So they pull it off again. And you still got Najee. All Najee got to do is learn how to hold his real estate consistently under the basket, because they're going to come at him like they come at Mitch Rob, like they come at Hoop Porty. And both Mitch Rob and Hoop Porty know how to hold on to their real estate. What I mean by that, don't let somebody push you out of your position. You must be tough and strong enough to hold your position when the ball's in the air, so you can get a better chance of getting the defensive rebound, okay, or the offensive rebound, as it may be. So right now, Najee don't have that. He's got all the athletic ability, all the length. He can really play good defense. He can guard almost 1 through 5. Great footwork on Najee. But when it comes to rebounding, which a guy like that, you're looking for rebounding. He's not going to be a shooter, but he's going to be a rebounder, right? So you're looking for that. In order to become an elite rebounder, he must be able to hold his real estate. In the summer, dudes that's not even in the league will push him out of his position. So he's going to have to learn that. That's why we got Bryant. That's why we got him. Not John Bryant, but Bryant, the big man coach. That's why we got him, to teach Najee how he needs to hold that real estate, build up his legs, build up his foundation so that he could do that. That's also coming next summer. See? So you got Pate, you got Najee, and let's not forget about our boy, Mo Diawara. He's already NBA level defense. This team is so stacked, it's going to be hard to get him time. He'll see some time because, people going to sprain ankles and whatnot. But these three boys, if that's all you got as far as youth, you good. Because one of them, Pate, is 19. Najee is 20. Diawara is 20. You got it already. So you could afford to trade a Daddy A if it means signing a gem. Okay? And with Jim, you got a guy that's just like 2 years from his prime, strong, not injury prone, knows the game on the NBA level or learning it rapidly, especially with the Knicks crew of coaches. This is a championship year. So yeah, somebody's gonna say, but Daddy ain't got future. I just named 3 players that you can have for your future. That ain't costing you what Daddy is costing you. Okay? Daddy A could develop somewhere else. I'm keeping him on the trade block. I'm telling you right now, I don't think they done yet. Especially Mitch Rob is the determining factor. If they keep sitting him out games and they got to play Hoop Porty and Jemison's going to get a contract. You may have to make a trade. Because right now the Knicks are about $150,000 under the second apron. So time goes by, they make a trade, they got some money. Okay? So this is going to be a big situation. I don't think Shamet or Clarkson are going to, wash out and fail. Somebody said, well, they might trade one of them, but they ain't going to fail. The Knicks knew what they doing when they got these 2 guys. And these boys could ball. And they fit right in where the Knicks need them to fit right in. So, yeah, we're going to see how this works out. Kolek is now the 3rd string point guard. Okay, people keep wanting, I guess it's a wish list. They want him to be the backup point guard because Deuce is not a point guard. All the flock y'all. Deuce is the backup point guard. It ain't like I wish him to be. He is. It is how it is. Deuce is the backup point guard, backup 2 guard, whatever you need, Deuce could do. Okay? So Kolek is the 3rd string point guard. If we play that boy 14 minutes like that, like we did the other night, he's going to develop nicely and continue playing and helping us win this chip. Game on tonight. I won't see it live. But I'm gonna have it videotape. And tomorrow night after Shabbat, I'm gonna sit down with some grape juice, a little something, and watch my Knicks. Hopefully with a dub against the C's. Anytime we could stomp on the C's, it's a good day. Y'all enjoy your Friday. So.